Welcome to another episode of Learn from People Who Lived It.
Well, hi there. It's Matthew Blades, speaker, leadership coach, and former broadcaster. And this is the show that's all about when life becomes our teacher. Today, we're going to sit down with author and speaker, Dr. Anna Marie Frank, as we usually do on Mondays, to chop up the idea of your body is trying to warn you. So I think the question that I'm going to ask you first, Dr. Anna Marie Frank, is where the heck were you 5 years ago when I was spiraling out of control? This is the message I needed back then.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It's not something that we really talk about, that the body is giving us subtle clues. It's giving us these little breadcrumbs that something internally is brewing. And it's not until we get our blood work or we go to a Western doctor that we're, 80% into a disease state that we get this quote unquote diagnosis. So what's possible if we're able to connect with the body and learn about these subtleties before it becomes something that is snowballing? And that's what I love to do with clients, is to decode what the body is trying to teach us, tell us, and just say, hey, give this some attention and support.
Okay, good. So this podcast is going to be for you today. If you have this sneaking suspicion that your body is trying to tell you something, and I believe the place we have to start is, what are some of the subtle signs that you see in your practice? What are some of those subtleties that people notice? Because I've mentioned before, for me, my body just went into full-on shingles and panic attacks. And so I had no choice but to acknowledge that my body was trying to tell me something. But I think what you're referring to are things that are a little bit more subtle.
Yeah. And today I'm really just going to focus on the tongue, because everybody listening, I'm assuming you have a tongue. And when you stick your tongue out and try to relax it, as you stick it out, your tongue, depending on its shape, depending on its color, depending on what it's doing when you try to stick it out, will give you some indications of what's going on internally in the body.
Prove it right here.
Okay. So let's see. So you do have some spotting on the tongue. It's patchy. So this is telling me you probably have issues with your gut lining and some food intolerances. Do you?
Yeah.
Yes. There's issues with your skin, which you already showed that. So I didn't want to say that because obviously you've showed us right here. But yeah, that patchiness on the tongue also can indicate skin issues, right? Psoriasis, eczema, things like that going on. The other thing too is, like, when you stick your tongue out, if you stick your tongue out and you just let it relax, it should just be one color and like a nice color that's healthy, not pale, because that can mean you're deficient in iron, B12, there could be hyperthyroidism, things going on, blood deficiencies. It should not be purple or blue. That can indicate circulation issues, chronic pain, trauma, emotional things going on in the body. Then there's also, like, if your tongue is like super, super bright red, this could be inflammation, excess heat in the body. And a lot of this is coming from Chinese medicine. This is like ancient wisdom that the body is always speaking to us. And that bright, bright red tongue also can indicate, maybe some anxiety, some sleep issues. So there should be a balance color of the tongue. The tongue could look like about the color of your lips. And when you stick your tongue out, your tongue should not shake. So this is something that you can just start with. If you look in the mirror and you stick your tongue out and you just let your tongue just relax, if that tongue is quivering, that is a sign that you are burning the candle at both ends. I would guess that you have adrenal issues, that you're very anxious. So it should just stick out and be relaxed. So yeah, the tongue is telling us all sorts of things. The other thing is, if your tongue is very thin, this can indicate that you have dehydration going on in the body. This can indicate certain nervous system issues, just feeling a little bit depleted. And then if you go to the opposite end of that, which is going to be your tongue is swollen, This can be a sign of blood sugar issues. This can be a sign of your lymphatic system needing more support and your hormones. So there's so many little indicators going on with just your tongue. And it's pretty amazing. That's one of the things I do, whether I'm working with someone in person or remotely. In person, they can stick their tongue out. I can look at their tongue. If I'm working with them remotely, before I do a session with clients for an initial intake, I'll have them take photos. So they stick their tongue out, relax it. They'll take a photo of it. Usually facing the sun is great because you can get that, the light around it.
Good lighting. Yeah.
Also do a video of just them sticking out their tongue because I can see, like, is the tongue quivering? Is the tongue going to one side? That can indicate a neurological issue, something going on with the brain. So again, this is coming out of Chinese medicine, some ancient wisdom of looking at the body, listening to the body. And we can do that for ourselves, but often we don't. We're like, oh, I don't feel good. And then we go to someone else to tell us what could be going on with us when we can decode it ourselves and see what could be happening.
Super interesting. So here's the story. So like last night, because look, I go to acupuncture once a month, and the first thing my Chinese medicine doctor does is have me stick out my tongue, right? That's the first. She feels my pulse and I stick out my tongue. Those are the first two things we do. And so last night we went out and we had some sushi, and there was a couple of pieces that just did not agree with me. And last night I had a terrible night of rest. Like my gut was not feeling very good. It was really unsettled. I woke up this morning and my gut's still been like a really uneasy. It's interesting that you were able to spot that right away just with the tongue. I guess the question is then, so now what, right? So I've looked at my tongue. It's not the way you described it. It's not this beautiful pink color that it should be. And so now what? So what do I do? What do people listening do?
Yeah. So depending on, like, for example, like the patchiness that you have on your tongue and needing the gut lining support issues. One, of course, this is me. I'm plugging a product of my own. And by the way, you can look at the ingredients in this product and go buy something else that's similar, but I created this product specifically for gut lining issues. And usually when people have gut lining issues, they also have issues with nervousness or a little bit of anxiety that can turn into sleep issues. So it's like this whole domino effect.
Yeah.
The patchiness starts showing up on the tongue. Okay, let's restore the gut. So I like to use my Bloatless U. Bloatless U has that mastic gum in it. It's really powerful. It actually strengthens the gut lining. And we need to have a strong gut lining so things can't permeate it. It also has a blend of 3 different herbs. So cleaning up, anytime we eat anything, there are viruses, bacteria, funguses in the foods that we eat. And what happens is herbs and different things like that are going to help to combat those viruses, bacteria, and parasites. The first line of defense when we eat something is our stomach acid. And our stomach acid should be a 1.5 to 3.0. Well, what happens is when people have disruption in their gut, they start having what we call reflux. There's this little sphincter at the end, right before it goes into the stomach, that doesn't close because your stomach acid isn't high enough. So it's staying open. Well, what happens when it stays open? We get reflux, yes? We get burning in the chest, we're burping. Sometimes it just doesn't feel good. Well, then people take Tums, or they take Prilosec. They take something to make it so your stomach isn't as acidic. Well, what does that do? That's like putting a Band-Aid on it. If you don't have the acidity, every time you eat something, you're not killing that bacteria. You're not killing that virus. You're not killing that fungus how you should, because you just took your pH from a 1.5 to a 3.0, and now it's maybe at a 5 or a 7 or an 8, and that pH is more alkaline. And we talk about, we got to have the alkaline body. Listen, there's different pHs in the body that serve for different reasons. So if you don't have a strong gut lining and you don't have a good pH system, you are putting yourself at risk for pneumonia, for H. pylori, for parasite growth. So the gut lining is really important to protect, to keep strong. And that's why I love using that bloatless U, because it's like lifting weights. I take 2 of those every night before I go to bed. I know it's strengthening my gut lining. Every time I take it, it builds off the day before. And so that's restoring the gut. And then, you could do the probiotics, and there's some companies we work with that have some amazing ones with the research behind it that will plant, those good bacteria throughout the gut to help the good bacteria grow. But the gut lining is really, really important. So when you stick out your tongue, if you're seeing that, then there could be an issue there. The other thing with digestion, you can notice on the tongue, if you stick your tongue out and there's scalloping on the sides of the tongue.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
So this can be poor digestion. It also indicates needing more liver support, but then also spleen deficiency. And so one thing you can do, like if you have that scalloping on your stomach, I don't know if you can see me in this picture, but in the video, but you take your fingers and go to your stomach right under your rib cage and you tap right there. And that's activating that spleen meridian to activate the spleen energy going through, which is important. So again, just depending on what the tongue is trying to tell us, that can point us in the direction of where do we need more support? Is it gut health? Is it detoxing the liver? Is it activating spleen meridian? Is it my tongue's pale and I need to increase iron and B12? Well, a good way to do that is through spirulina, chlorella, different foods that we can take and eat versus just, taking an iron supplement or whatnot. So it's just really decoding the message coming through from the body, and the tongue and all of this starts to happen way before we even start paying attention to it.
So fascinating. So, you mentioned reflux, and I actually just reached out to a GI doc lately because for months I was like clearing my throat. I was like, what is going on? And he was like, oh man, it's like, sounds like stereotypical silent reflux. Yep. And he was like, why don't you do this? Why don't you, he asked me what I was eating, and I was, shared all that stuff with him. And there were 2 things that I was eating that he thought were going to be a huge contributor to it. Number 1 was chocolate, dark chocolate. And then number 2 was coffee. And he was like, why don't you just eliminate the dark chocolate and the coffee from your diet and start to see if it makes a difference. And I'll be honest, it's been 2 weeks now with no coffee. That's not true. I probably had 2 cups of coffee in 2 weeks, but I really obviously have been taking it back. And I have noticed that all day has started to dissipate. But I will also tell you, and I will share with the audience, I have used the Bloatless U product, and I freaking ran out of it. And it sounds like from this conversation, I need to get back on it. Like I need to get back, because I did start to take a probiotic, but I don't know, maybe that's not enough.
Yeah. I mean, our gut is so important because our gut and our brain are constantly communicating. And if you struggle with any type of mental health challenge, you can't ignore the gut. You've got to restore gut health. And the reason I even created Bloatless U is because, number 1, I was getting a product from another company, and it was a great product, but it was like $79 a month. And it had these 4 active ingredients in it. And by the way, it wasn't expensive because it worked. However, I was like, okay, can I go and source these raw materials and get it encapsulated and do the testing and do all that and have it be less costly to my clients? And I was able to achieve that with actually double the herbs that are in it. And we sell it for like $55 a month for a month's supply. I share that because when you go out, if you're going to go out and buy mastic gum, like 100 milligrams is what I have found to be really effective. You got to find what works for you. But mastic gum is a pretty expensive ingredient because of just how it's sourced and how we get it and everything like that. So just know that, but also getting it from a reliable source. And because it's a great ingredient, and marrying it with the slippery elm and the other herbs that we have in it is really powerful for the gut. But there's some really great products out there, and some of them, when it comes to the gut, I think it's important to take regularly. We don't promote our nutraceutical line and our supplements to take always and forever. Like, we test the body and see what your body needs. However, when it comes to daily use, I do think the Bloatless You is one of those that I would say, if you can, take it most days of the week, because your gut, again, is going to affect that brain, and your gut's going to affect your hormones, and your gut is going to affect your mood. Your mood affects what you do. So it's one of those you kind of want to, all right, I'm going to invest in that one.
Really good to know. Okay, so where do like, you're in Bakersfield, obviously, but where can most people go? I mentioned that my acupuncturist gives me that feedback on my tongue. Are there other places that are kind of universal where they will check your tongue?
Yeah, mostly anyone that's practicing in Chinese medicine and Eastern
Okay.
practices, they'll look at your tongue. It's not something that's like a regular doctor. I've never had a regular doctor look at my tongue ever.
It's weird. I wonder why, because it's so flippin' like it's such good information.
Yeah, but when we're little, they have you stick out your tongue and they look at your tonsils.
Right.
But they look at your tonsils because there's an opportunity to do surgery and take them out.
Got it. Got it.
Right?
I thought there might be a financial gain there.
I mean, so yeah, I mean, it's yeah, but I do it. I have people send me photos of their tongue and work with people remotely. I mean, if anyone wants to just like DM me a picture of your tongue, like, I'll totally like be like, here you go. this is just what I think. It's kind of random. It's I had a new client this morning, and she came in, and I was like, okay, I need you to just stick out your tongue, and she was like, it's, for some people it feels like, oh, that's like my tongue, like that's so private,
Right.
but it's important. It's literally important. And I always say our tongue is like the tip of the iceberg of what's going on internally and what's going on with our gut. If you have a white coating over your tongue, this can be a sign of candida overgrowth. If the tongue is yellow, that can be some other signs of having some toxins in the body. I mean, it has so much information on the tongue, and it's pretty amazing. I've actually seen in real time clients, I'll have them take a photo of their tongue, and then within 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, they take another photo of their tongue, and their tongue looks like it's completely different. It's pretty wild.
Question in the back.
Yeah.
For somebody who's, well, I'll just use myself as an example. Like you mentioned a few minutes ago, hey, you got some of this, you got some of this. So if somebody gets on a product like Bloatless You or some other product that you mentioned might be good, probiotic, how long does it take to shift it? And then I'm going to ask you a follow-up question. So that's part one. How long does it typically take to shift the gut?
Okay, so part one first. I mean, it could take, we always say in natural health, you give it 60, 90 days. So I always like to have clients go through 3 full cycles of a month. So 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. We have clients that see results within 10 days. I mean, I literally have a mom who texted me the other day, and she was like, Anna Marie, can my son stay on Bloatless You and Purify like indefinitely? Because he's actually pooping every day, and he was having stomach cramps. He was constipated. He's like 11 or 12 years old. And I'm like, yeah, absolutely. He can. If it feels right, like, stay on it. It's great. So everybody's body is a little bit different. So you just got to figure out, listen to your body. I mean, I can give you some guidance on like what I see works and recommendations, but at the end of the day, you take it, you see how you feel. I mean, you were on Bloatless You and you felt pretty good. And then, you kind of go off it, you feel good. And then now here you are, you're like, crap, I got a little reflux happening again, right? All right. Now, like, yeah, I could probably pop back on it for another 30, 60 days, see how I do. So it's important that we check back in with ourselves and listen to our own bodies.
Part two on that is there something that you see on the tongue that's like, hey, you're going to want to get that checked out right now?
If the tongue is going to the side.
So like,
yeah, you stick your tongue out and it can't fall straight out. I'm kind of going off topic here because we're talking about the tongue, but I'll also look at the eyes. And if the pupil in the eyes has like an indent in it, that combined with the tongue going to the side, I would tell you to go see your medical provider for sure.
Okay. Well, what a fun episode today. I can't wait to see all the still frames from it of like, it's going to be great. It's going to be good for social media. Dr. Anna Marie Frank is the author of the book, Stop Bullying Yourself. You can find her at Happy Whole You if you want to just jump online and get her on Instagram or on her website. That's where you can find her. She's not hiding from any of us, that's for sure. Thank you so much for helping us understand our tongues better today. I didn't see the tongue conversation coming, but I'm so happy it happened.
I mean, kind of random, but it's not random in my world.
Yeah. Now, the last question. Can you touch your tongue to your nose?
I don't think I can. Hold on. No, I've never been able to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I have always been able to do it, which I think is a very strange thing. I don't think that is a common.
Yeah, you can.
I don't think that's a common thing. It's very strange. All right, good stuff. Well, everybody watching, thank you so much for being a part of our conversation today. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. We'd love to see you every Monday when we welcome Dr. Anna Marie Frank to the table. Don't miss us tomorrow. Our good buddy, Courtney McDermott, is back for one great teaching, and that is always a great conversation. And, of course, on Wednesdays, we get Dr. Dave and his Mind Works, and then on Thursday, Guns and Grief. And just a small preview on Thursday, Jill already reached out to me and she said there's some new statistics out about suicide, and they're kind of interesting. There's some categories where we're down, but there's some things where we're up, and so she's going to kind of shake that out with us. So should be a good show. Have a great rest of your afternoon, Dr. Anna Marie Frank, and thanks so much for the convo today.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, guys, have a great day. We'll see you next time.